Hello, world. Welcome to episode 151 of the Jimmy Canz Show. It is a classic supercard retrospective. We are going to be discussing the 1992 Royal Rumble. Happy New Year, everyone. New year. Got some new graphics and some new stories to share. So let's get into it here. All right. The 1992 Rumble. January 19th, 1992, obviously WWF event, held in Albany, New York, Knickerbocker Arena. 17,000 in attendance, basically a sellout for that venue. Broadcast live on pay-per-view, later released on VHS, courtesy of Coliseum Video. The action called by Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. IC titles on the line, tag titles will be defended as well. Rumble match with the WWF title awarded to the winner, plus some other undercard matchups. So let's get into it. Opening contest of the pay-per-view was a tag team contest. The Orient Express, now consisting of Kato and Tanaka, with Mr. Fuji facing the New Foundation, Jim the Anvil Neidhart and the Rocket Owen Hart. They really didn't have anything for Owen yet. His ring work was there, but the promo and character not yet so developed. So they paired him up, with his brother-in-law, the Anvil, to help season him a little bit. Obviously chemistry was there with them being brothers-in-law. So despite outside interference, Owen hangs tough, tags in Anvil, tide turns, a rocket launcher later onto Tanaka. 1, 2, 3, your winners, the New Foundation. This was a team that had some potential, I think. It was derailed, unfortunately, due to the Anvil's substance issues, but, it was what it was, and it kind of helped season Owen a little bit and get him ready for a phenomenal career. Next up, new IC champion, the Mountie, with Jimmy Mouth of the South Hart in his corner, taking on Roddy Piper. Yes, the Mountie captured the IC title just 48 hours before the Rumble at a house show. Storyline-wise, they stated that the Hitman wrestled with a high fever, allowing, and was very ill, which is why the Mountie was able to defeat him. This was not a long match here. I mean, obviously there was no real build or story behind it, with him only winning the title 48 hours before the event. So short story, even shorter. Piper puts down the Mountie with the sleeper and captures his only singles title in the WWF here. So Hot Rod, IC champion. Comedy tag shenanigans up next. Bushwhackers, Luke and Butch with Jameson taking on Bo and Blake, the Beverly Brothers, with the Genius in their corner. This was a garbage comedy spot-filled mess. It was just spot after spot after spot of shenanigans and comedy. The heels did end up getting the win in this one, but Luke and Butch end up with the, standing tall post-match. All in all, this was just bad. And I don't understand why it was even on the card, to be honest with you. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Jameson was a New York City comic, I guess, that Vince found very funny, and they shoehorned him in here. It was bad. Just bad comedy. Next up, the World Tag Team titles are on the line. What a rush as the champions Animal and Hawk, the Legion of Doom, take on the Natural Disasters, Earthquake and Typhoon. Jimmy Mouth of the South Hart out there once again. Punching, kicking, out to the floor, brawling and shenanigans on the floor. Around the 10-minute mark, all this kind of goes down. Typhoon is able to slip back into the ring prior to the 10 count, thus giving the Disasters the win via countout. So your winners of the bout, the natural disasters. However, titles do not change hands on a countout, so still champions, the Legion of Doom. This takes us to the 30-man Rumble match itself. Winner of the Rumble this year will be awarded the vacant WWF Championship. So the 30 participants in this year's Rumble, in order of entry, were Bulldog, the $1 Million Man, the Nature Boy, Nasty Boy, Sags, Haku, the newly christened Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, El Matador, the Barbarian, the Texas Tornado, Repo Man, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Nikolai Volkov, Big Boss Man, Hercules, new Intercontinental Champion, the Hot Rod. Yes, he could become a double champion tonight. Jake the Snake Roberts, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, IRS, Superfly Jimmy Snuka, The Undertaker, the Macho Man Randy Savage, the Berserker, Virgil, Colonel Mustafa, the Model Rick Martel, Hulk Hogan, Skinner, Sergeant Slaughter, Sid Justice, and The Wolf. So, the order of elimination in this Rumble. First out was DiBiase, followed by Sags, Haku, Volkov, Repo, Bulldog, Tornado, Matador, HBK, Barbarian, Herc, Bossman, Snuka, Roberts, Mustafa, Taker, Berserker, Duggan, Virgil, Skinner, Slaughter, IRS, Warlord, Martel, and Piper. That leaves just the final four. Those final four were the Macho Man Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, Sid Justice, and the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Savage is the first out of the four. Then Justice takes advantage with Hogan's back turned as he's trying to dump Flair, and he ends up dumping the Hulkster, leaving just Justice and Flair. All-American babyface Hogan hits the floor and throws a temper tantrum, grabs Sid's arm and starts pulling him over the top. Flair, being the dirtiest player in the game that he is, capitalizes on the situation, hoists up Sid's legs, sending him to the floor. So your winner of the Rumble, with a tear in his eye, and the new WWF champion, the Nature Boy. Real quick, by the numbers here, shortest time in this Rumble was just 56 seconds was Hercules. Funny enough, though, he did manage one elimination in under a minute. So most eliminations was Sid Justice with 6. Longest in this Rumble was the actual winner. Flair coming in at number 3. He went an hour and 2. 5 eliminations along the way himself. That wasn't just a longest for this Rumble, it was a new longevity record for the Rumble in general. In terms of Hall of Fame involvement, this was a packed event with 28 Hall of Famers involved on the broadcast. Those being Snuka, Tito, Valentine, Slaughter, Hogan, Piper, Jimmy Hart, Volkov, Sheik, Sherry, Fuji, Perfect, Flair, Tornado, DiBiase, HBK, Duggan, Hawk and Animal, Paul Bearer, Jake the Snake, Savage, Luke and Butch, Bossman, Neidhart, Bulldog, Taker. If we add in just voices, more or less, within this show, it takes us all the way up to 33, because that would be, Monsoon, Heenan, Okerlund, Lord Alfred, and Finkel. So very, packed card with historic competitors and personalities. In terms of a rating, the 92 Rumble was a very solid show. It was a forgettable undercard, aside from Piper finally getting some gold. The other 3 matches were all tag team matches on the undercard, so you had 3 tag team matches and 1 singles match on the undercard. one was a comedy shtick match. Um, yeah, the opener wasn't too bad. But then, the World Tag Title match and count out was kind of lame. Um, but the Rumble in and of itself was fantastic. I mean, having the title on the line in a Rumble, everything it did to help set up Mania 8 was really solid. So, this was a solid show, aside from the undercard. So, on a 10 belt scale, I will give this one an 8. Flair's win would have been better, I think, without Hogan's tantrum and interference in it. But it does. It was done to help set up Mania, which we'll get into down the road. Piper, as I mentioned, his IC title one was great, and the rest of the undercard was pretty lackluster. So it dings this card a little bit. So all in all, pretty solid card. Next up in our classic retros will be Clash of the Champions 18. So there you have it. Once again, Happy New Year, everyone. Give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe. Wherever you are, I hope you're doing well. Take care of one another, and I will see you all when I see you.